Hello everyone and welcome to this video presentation about SAASPASS, and here we'll be talking about about SAASPASS for developers. Especially we'll be talking about the APIs, SDKs, and also the complete product for developers, the SAASPASS complete product for developers, ACME Login. So in general, SAASPASS actually offering different ways for developer to implement and integrate their applications and systems into the SAASPASS, getting benefit from the SAASPASS identity and access management system, authentication, authorization, account management, access management, etc., and all the functionality of SAASPASS actually. SAASPASS for developer, as we mentioned, SAASPASS offering different ways of integration with the SAASPASS. So to integrate with SAASPASS, you can use the SAASPASS complete restful API or the SAASPASS OpenID Connect. And if you are developing or having a mobile application, then you can use the SAASPASS mobile SDKs for both iOS and Android. If you would like to have a full implementation, including session management, attribute management, profiling, and a complete application integration, then in this case, you can use also the SAASPASS product, ACME Login. We will be explaining this in more details in the next slides. So first of all, let's start with the RESTful API. So the SAASPASS RESTful API that you can see all the capabilities of it listed in the online portal, web portal, developer.saaspass.com. Please visit developer.saaspass.com, and there you will get all the information about the SAASPASS RESTful API. SAASPASS actually offer a complete RESTful API of a full IAM functionality, including authentication, authorization, account management, access management, role and attributes, profiling. All this you can integrate it, and you can sync this bidirectional between your application or your system and SAASPASS as identity and access management system, as identity provider, so as IDP, and in this case your application will be SP, the service provider. In order to simplify, even the SAASPASS implementing the SAASPASS RESTful API is really very simple, and it's simple for every developer actually, even the beginner, including the beginners. But still, SAASPASS offering, in spite of that, offering more tools and ways, utilities to make your task even easier for that. So we are offering a complete ready plug and play browser widgets. So you can take the widget, put it in iframe, inject it in your web application, and then do the configuration, get the configuration from the SAASPASS admin portal for your custom application, and do this configuration on your site, on your application, and that's it. It's working. Also, we have code snippets that you can copy paste into your project and just change its parameter. Those parameters that are and configurations that I already mentioned, that you can get them from the SAASPASS admin portal after you add a custom. Because to get benefit from RESTful API, the first step is you need to register your company. If not, then you go to the SAASPASS admin portal and you log in there. You switch to your company, and there you will be adding a custom application. So when you add a custom application, you will get you will get a step-by-step guide how to integrate it. Also a reference to the website that we mentioned, SAASPASS, developer.saaspass.com. Also, in addition to that, you will find the configuration and the parameters, the keys, the secret keys that you can use in order to do the handshaking, the security part, the handshaking part for between your application and SAASPASS. Also, we have a complete sample projects that you can download and see them how they are working in action. So this will be a very good sample and example for you on how to integrate a project with SAASPASS, taking in consideration that developer may use different programming language, Java, .NET, C#, Python, PHP, JavaScript, and even more. This is why we are providing all those code snippets and also sample projects in all those different programming languages, so you can copy or take any one of those and integrate it on your side. You need just only to change the parameters as I mentioned before. So this is about the RESTful API, and you will get a lot of information about this in the developer.saaspass.com. Also, if you have if you have a web application or desktop application, but if you have a mobile SDK application, you still be able to use the RESTful API that I just mentioned, this one, and you can integrate it with your backend, or you integrate it directly with your mobile application. But if you want a more easier and ready solution, then we have a mobile SDKs for you, software development kits in both iOS and Android. And you can just import those libraries into your project, in your iOS or Android project, and follow up the instructions that we have again in the developer.saaspass.com under the mobile SDKs section. And then you will follow the rules from there. And again, you have to get some parameters from the SAASPASS admin portal, and then you will be able to integrate your application, getting benefits from the instructions and the information in the developer.saaspass.com. Also, the code snippets and the complete sample projects that you will get again from there. So with this one, we will get a complete full IAM functionality. Whatever you need, you can integrate the authentication only, or authentication in addition to authorization, account management, rule and attributes, delegation, etc. Also, another way for all the application to integrate, whether it is web application or desktop application, we have another protocol. That's another implementation for another protocol. We have in this API, we implement the OpenID Connect protocol. So this is a SAASPASS login button. It's exactly like the Facebook Connect button. That's when you go to any website that's integrated with the Facebook as identity provider. So you'll find login with Facebook. So if you have a session, you already logged in with your Facebook, then it will take you inside that application. And even if you are not registered, it will register you. So the same applicable here, the same concept with SAASPASS. SAASPASS offers you a login with SAASPASS button that you can integrate over everywhere, and it will serve both. Even if you don't have account in that application, then once you click on that, the user, once they click on that button, they will be able to log in and also to register and create account automatically. So this could be used for authentication, authorization, account management, as I mentioned, by registering yourself. Also access management, rule, attributes, profiling, etc. Here you'll be able to get this button as HTML code, and you just put this HTML code inside anywhere you would like this login with SAASPASS button to appear. Also, we have the examples and samples that you can use for such an implementation. You can get more information in our web portal, developer.saaspass.com. Now we will come to a complete portal and a complete product under the SAASPASS that's specifically and mainly developed for the developers. It's called ACME Login. ACME Login, actually, it is the login and identity platform for developers. SAASPASS could be used for developers, definitely, with its RESTful API, with its OpenID Connect, with its custom application implementation, yes. But if you have a very wide project and you need very wide and specific concept like session globalization, session token security, adding social login, integrate the social login into your own login, adding another identity provider, you need an application that doing identity brokering for you, not identity provider only. SAASPASS is identity provider, but ACME Login is identity provider and also doing identity brokering for SAASPASS as identity provider and for other identity providers, whatever they could be, and if they are implemented some standard protocol. So this is the difference between ACME Login and SAASPASS. So this is why we call it the login and identity platform for developers. It's implement authentication, authorization, social sign-in, IAM and user management into web and mobile application for you in minutes. We mean this. You can measure it. Once you go to ACME Login and you understand the concept, there you can integrate any of those functionalities or all of those functionalities in minutes. And this is why we're calling the ACME Login is the hero for developers. Is the hero of the developers. So this is a really very wide list of the functionalities actually, and even more we have. We have authentication, authorization, registration, sign-up, security, social login, multi-factor authentication, biometric login, touch ID, single sign-on, passwordless login, password complexity, the OWASP, password reset, password expiry, OpenID profile, OpenID Connect and token authentication, account linking, session management for monitoring and mapping also, bidirectional session management, session globalization, session token security, session expiry, and a lot of things about session actually, not limited to what is listed here. Also, we have a complete user management like user role, group management, user federation with Active Directory and other LDAP servers, custom identity and account management. You can create multiple realm as we can see in the next slide. You do the delegation. We have dashboard reporting analytics in ACME Login itself. You can get benefit from the growth metrics, business rule engine, the customization of user interface, UI, UX, workflow. All this could be customized. Language support, language localization, email also could be customized. Redirecting URLs, protection and security from brute force, security headers, XSS, cross-site scripting, DDoS, etc. You can impersonate users, so this will be helping a lot of with the support. So you can log in instead of as your own users, and you see in your eyes what the problem they are facing. This is up to you to use this or not, depending on your rule for the user privacy and security. We have plug and play sign in, sign up widgets, ready integration, APIs, SDKs, code samples, etc. So we have also database agent and on-premise. All this exist in the ACME Login, and we will see in a bit. So ACME Login, as we said, is authentication as a service actually, AAAS. It's identity management as a service, and also you can consider it identity as a service, authentication as a service, or identity as a service, or identity management as a service. It's identity and access management also could be considered, and also identity broker. This is the most important and the main difference point between SAASPASS and ACME Login. It could behave as a broker between the identity provider, that could be SAASPASS, between your application and the other identity provider, like the SAASPASS, or the other identity provider like Facebook, social in the social login, etc. It is an identity management, authentication, authorization provider, and at the same time aggregator, as we said, broker or aggregator. It's all in one turnkey solution for developers. Actually, it's offered the developers a critical, foundational, and outstanding full set of services as identity as a service. It's helped the developers managing, authenticating, authorizing their users for their web, mobile, and desktop application, or any backend or API application or project they have. Actually, ACME Login supports multiple realms, multiple clients and applications, and of different types. Those clients and applications, they could be for on the same realm. They could be mobile, web, or desktop applications, and or actually desktop applications. It have a full support for user life management, registration, provisioning, deprovisioning, user federation, importing, exporting, patch importing, patch exporting, etc. Full support for authentication. It supports multiple IDPs, as we mentioned, including the social login, the OpenID Connect, the SAASPASS login, and the passwordless login, and the password-based login for Active Directory or other IDPs. Authorization, it's built authorization rule depending on the roles and the groups, etc. You can customize, as we mentioned, you can customize the user interface, the user experiences, and build automated workflows. You can define the security tokens, headers, injection detection, brute force, etc., and a lot of things of these things, GWT signing key. You can configure your email services and use your own email server, or you can rely on the ACME Login email server, but you can customize everything about email, including the email templates that ACME Login is sending to your users or to your developers, and you can customize everything about them with dynamic parameters. It's offer you a complete and a comprehensive logs and reports, and also tools for monitoring the system and the integration with ACME Login. SAASPASS for developer as ACME Login, actually, when you would like to integrate, first of all, actually you need to create a realm. Realm, you can consider it as a project. And this project may have main clients or applications. So the main project, for example, you have a project about e-commerce, selleverything.com, and under that project you have the web client, the web site, and also you have a mobile application, and also you may have a desktop application. So those all will be clients under the one realm, that is selleverything.com. But maybe you will develop another project that's for example, it's giving you weather estimation. You develop an API, so you will create another realm, you call it weather estimation, and under that you will create a backend API client that will serve for this purpose. So you can have multiple realms that have totally different projects, different ideas, and under each realm you have multiple clients depending on what they are. They are backend API clients, web, mobile, whatever you would like to support in that realm or in that project. So we have mandatory steps here, actually. Set up your realm first, and then you set up your locals for that realm, which locals is supporting, which language is supporting. Then, so accordingly, you will be customizing your messages or whatever things in these different languages, relying on the main default messages that we have in ACME Login. Then after that, after you creating the realm, you setting up the locals and language, you need to create and set up your clients. So whether they are not mandatory, you need, depending on your project, so you can set up a regular web application, a client, and also you can at the same time, under the same realm, you can create a single page application, or you can create a mobile native app, or backend API or advanced application that you can customize everything about this app if you are actually expert developer. After that, you need to set up the registration and login services, of course, for those clients. We have manual registration and login, we have social login, we have SAASPASS MFA login, we have other identity providers, we can do aggregating and brokering for them. Customization and security, also you can customize and configure your security depending on your requirements and needs. You can customize your UI and texting, you can customize your UX and workflows, you can customize your email templates, you can also set up your email server, and you can set up and configure everything about your security and the details of your the security of your clients. Also, where you need to set up the master realm. The master realm is once you log in and register and manage the admin. You can log in to the ACME Login itself. Once you log into that ACME Login, you are using the master realm, and your developer, when they log into ACME Login, they log in actually to this master realm. So you can configure there. You can add the developers, manage them, manage the administrator actually, and user could register for that master realm. You can approve them when they can create another realm, and each administrator can log in and can create their own realm and manage their own users, and you'll be managing the main master realm. Setting up the email server, we already mentioned that, but this is a detail here about how to set up the email server actually. So here, as you can see, here you have email settings. You can configure a custom email server for your own email server, or use the ACME one. So in this case, you need to provide information about the host port, etc. All this, is the SSS enabled or not? What's the password to connect? What is the username? Also, the email customization that you cannot see here, but email customization means that all the emails that sent by default by ACME Login, you can log in them and you can customize them per language, for each local. So all the email sent as set in this realm for those clients will be customized by you if you would like to customize. Otherwise, ACME Login will be using the default ones. Then you're setting up your login services. So, for example, here you see that you do a lot of configuration here. You are able to do a lot of configuration. Like, for example, do you would like to accept cookies in the browser? Do you would like to have the remember me, forgot password, registration, captcha, email as username to use it, register with email, configure password complexity, how the complex of the password. If you are supporting it, I would like to integrate your registration also with ACME Login. Then what is the password complexity that you expect ACME Login to accept from the users that they will be registering for your application or your project here. You can also review the settings that you are doing, and you can add social login. You can add other identity provider login, like since we have a generic and a custom OpenID Connect support, you can add the SAASPASS login as we mentioned. So as you can see here, even there is a preview while you are doing those settings. Once I will have such an application, and I can customize the lookness, by the way, the colors, this image, the titles, these buttons, all those keywords are customizable, and as I mentioned, you can customize them per language. And this is what I configured now. So I will be getting, or my users will be interfacing with such a page that support both login and register, and it's also support social login and SAASPASS Connect. That will be serving for both services, login and register, auto register at the same time. Also, I will have a separate one. Once I click on register here, then I will be moving on to this one. So you see that here I have the register, and I need to provide this information, because those information, by the way, customizable. It's up to me to ask whatever I want from the users to log in, and which of those information that I am asking for during the registration, which of them they are mandatory, which of them they are optional, and do I need to have a captcha or not to protect my registration process. Do I support social login for registration and SAASPASS Connect for registration? All this depend on me. Also, after that, I can set up roles. So I can create different roles and set those roles to users, and also I can create groups and set groups and put the end users in different groups and give them different access rules. So everything I can manage inside ACME Login here. I can set up the client. That's important about which like for example, which tokens, the headers, the brute force detection, the OpenID endpoint, the OpenID endpoint configuration, the signing key. These for security is very important actually. So actually, there is a lot of about ACME Login that I cannot cover in 1 or 2, 3 sessions. So you are invited to reach acmelogin.com, and actually there is a documentation about ACME Login in details for the developers. There is sample codes. There is the ACME Login itself. The login for it is as an example for you how to log in. It's already integrated. The acmelogin.com is already integrated with the SAASPASS login, and you can integrate it with your any kind of application you have. Thank you very much, and hope to see you in the next presentation. Goodbye.